Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over some settings tips, gameplay tips, weapons, and the plus system. This is going to be a shorter beginner's guide video. I just picked out some of the more important things to go over, so let's get into it. First of all, we're going to be going over some settings. Okay, the first setting I want to go over here is the ADS field of view. I think by default this might be turned off, so what you want to do is turn this on. So what it's going to do is, say if you have a high field of view like 90, I only run 60, but if you run a 90 field of view, if you have this off, it's going to use the default field of view. So when you zoom in to your weapon and this is off, you're going to get the camera zoomed in way more than your 90 field of view, so it might throw you off a little bit there on the recoil management. The next setting I want to go over here is your crosshair. So just for example, if you're using the standard white crosshair, it might blend into some of the environment and it'll make it hard to hit some shots or see your enemy. So you not being able to see this crosshair might end up getting you killed. So what you want to do is go to your options under display and go to crosshair. You can change any color that you want. So you can change the opacity, the crosshair outline capacity, and here's the color right here. You can get a red or maybe a green. A green is a real common one to use. So it'll just make it stand out way more for you and just look a lot better. You probably win some more gunfights just by changing this one setting. Another setting that's really going to help you out is your minimap. So in previous Battlefield titles, you were always able to increase the size of your minimap just to make it a lot easier to see. So we'll go and do that. So what you want to do is go over to minimap and go down to minimap scale. Here we can turn it up to 25% bigger. As you can see there in the bottom left, we now have a 25% larger minimap. You can also, I don't know why you would, but you can also make it smaller, as you can see there. So in the previous updates of this game, they did have the minimap bound with the UI, so all of your UI on the bottom left there would get bigger too, but now they've changed it and it is much nicer. And this will help you out seeing a lot more on the minimap where your team has highlighted enemies. Just for example, there you go. Another setting that I want to go over here is the camera shake amount. This is default set to 100. I would just turn this down to 20 just because when there's a lot of explosions going on in a game, it really messes up your camera and it makes it a lot harder to aim. So if you turn this down to 20 and you throw a grenade, there's barely any camera shake at all. So if you think there's 100 grenades going off, this is going to be really nice. You can still keep aimed and stuff like that. The last setting I want to go over is in accessibility, then general, and we scroll down to motion blur. I would always like this turned down to 0. It just gives you all of the visibility. There's no blurring at all. You can see everything. For example, if we turn it back up, when you're moving around, there's blurring. Turning this off will just give you way more clarity and easier to see your enemies. The next thing I want to go over is spotting. First kind of spotting is passive spotting. So that is when you highlight an enemy. This will show up for you and only you. No one else will be able to see this. The next kind of spotting is called 3D spotting, which past Battlefield titles have been all about. So what you want to do is when you see an enemy and it's highlighted, you press your spot button. That's Q on PC. See on the minimap, you'll have an orange icon for all your team to see. Another way of spotting that can be done is the ping system, which is initiated by double tap the spot button. This will ping an approximate location of your enemies for your team. Much like any other games like Call of Duty or Apex Legends, they do this kind of thing too. So if you kind of see an enemy location but you can't get that 3D spot off, you can just double tap the location and just give your teammates a rough idea. It's better than nothing. Another useful thing for the ping system is when you go down, you can still ping enemies. So when you're in that down state, you can be pressed like spamming that Q spot button or whatever your spot button is on console, LB or L1. You can just be pinging that and showing your team where that enemy that killed you is. Moving on, I want to talk about the plus system a little bit. So if we go over to our collection, when we highlight a gun here, when we press left click, we can customize and it brings up the plus system here. So the plus system is where you can customize your weapons attachments. You can add attachments to the plus menu and then you can switch attachments on the fly in game. This will help you be prepared for different situations within a game. Okay, so as you can see here on my M5A3, we have these attachments. You can have 3 attachments per branch on the plus system here. So as you can see here, I have these little pluses on here. This means I can add attachments. So what you want to do is left click on that slot and you can add an attachment that you would desire in game. For example, here I can add a suppressor. And now that will be available for me in game. Now, something you want to keep in mind is every first slot is going to be your loadout. So if you customize, for example, like this, you want this sight, you want this barrel, you want this mag, and you want this grip here. Because this grip is in this slot, you're going to go into the game with just the sight, the barrel, and the mag, and this grip won't be attached. So if you move this grip into this slot, just like that, this will be your loadout. Okay, now in game, we can pull up the plus system with T on PC, as you can see there. So I did come with my loadout, which is in the first slots like this. So all you have to do is go over and select what you want. Just like that, and now you have a new loadout. Another thing I want to go over here is the fire modes for weapons. On PC, it is the V key. In the bottom right, you can see when I switch it, you can see some weapons may have a burst option also. The M5A3 just has fully auto and single. If you pay attention to my green crosshairs, when I switch between fire modes, they will change. Full auto has regular crosshair as you know it, but if you switch to single fire, that top line is gone. And then if you look on the G57 here, because it has a burst option, see we're in single mode right now. When you switch to that burst, there is halfway cut lines. That's the best way I can describe it on this crosshair now. So you don't have to look down at the bullet symbol there. You can just look at your crosshair and know what kind of mode you're in. Something that I think is very important for new players that they can utilize in Battlefield 2042, which we have not really had in any other title before, is the co-op/AI mode. So what you want to do is go over to Conquest, and you can go over here to Conquest Solo Co-op, and you can change the AI soldiers level, and you can also select what map you want to play on. I think this game mode is vital for any beginner to Battlefield 2042, because not only can you get a feel for different maps, get an understanding of the spawns and how the guns feel, you can also unlock weapon attachments and get ahead in the game, or even catch up to your friends that have already been playing for months. If you are looking for an easy to use and competitive gun, I would recommend the M5A3. It is a very well-rounded gun, and you can change it up with the plus system to fit your playstyle. Also, it is one of the very first guns that the game gives you on launch. And that was it. I tried to cover things that I thought were important to know. So if you think I missed anything, please let me know and I'll help you with it. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.